Back to the fray, baby. I can't help myself. Uh, this is so good. Right, I just came back from freaking brunch. Right, where are we now? Where are you now? May I? Who? Is it? Oh! Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please pick a card. Any card. What's this all about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all. An ace. Damn. A literal ace. Up your sleeve. It's got blood in it, and it's red on the behind. Oh. And the ace of swords represent victory, baby. Within the tarot. Oh yeah, baby, it's blood. Holy shit loud. You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. Yep, I knew it. That's right, daughter. What is it with blue-colored male protagonists having daughters? Jotaro as well. He's actually the only other example I can come up with. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth? Add it to court record, damn it! I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. The locket. There it is. So once again, we're gonna cheat to win. As usual. It does make for compelling story, but this is not at all how fucking normal trials. This is this is just bound. This just leagues and bounds for mistrial. Court will now reconvene. Defense attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Oh boy, here it comes. It's time to break you. You're gonna have a breakdown, breakdown! Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Will, the witness state his name and occupation? Is this farce necessary, Your Honor? Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom. Hold on. He sure does have a knack at catching me in the midst of recording. What's the word for it? In the middle. In medias red. In medias res. Anyway, I should prepare the volume mixer. Hold on. Whoops, I accidentally opened my windows. Alright, game is quieter now. Alright, this should work. Just in case or something. Anyway, Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it. Objection! Phoenix. Oh, hello, you're here now. Oh! Dun dun dun! It's his theme! Dun 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 dun. Oh yeah, fan service. I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Galvin. Mr. Wright! What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow, things sure look different from the other side. Know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. Oh yeah, Phoenix is full on in his attorney mode again. He never lost touch. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off, except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit. Oh! When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to be at the scene of the crime at the time of the crime. In other words, you'd have to be the real killer, is what you're trying to say. Not bad, Apollo. Everything's falling into place. I knew he was a bad guy. That's why my fan and voice for him right at the very beginning. And I always knew he did look suspicious. I know that's very based way of thinking. But that was what my gut says. And I know this goes against my saying of never using first impressions to make my opinion on character, but this is Ace Attorney we're talking about here, and this is fiction. Yeah, so he's Goro Akechi. Pretending to be someone who values truth and justice, but in reality is the one committing all the crimes. Wait, isn't that spoilers? Game's super old anyway, everyone already knows. Mr. Gavin, I wonder when that Persona frickin' thing is gonna be announced, actually. They actually people keep thinking that they're gonna announce Persona 6 there. They frickin' overhype themselves and then nothing happens. There's just bound to be disappointment, sadly. Alright, he's hiding something. Yet I'm afraid in the current situation I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night. Oh yeah. Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the event of that fateful night? Witness testimony. I like how the moment Phoenix Wright entered the freaking defense side rather than the witness stand, suddenly the entire OST changed to be his during his game. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, and so I left. That's when the call came from Wright.
So you witnessed the murder?
For better or for worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them that you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that. Because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo? Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. No, I am not. But, this is it, man. We're at the climax. I got this. I'm determined to finish this episode. I can't wait for episode 2 because that's when Emma shows up and we get to see the new mechanics of investigation. Or maybe I'm not looking forward to that. The investigation has always been like the boring part of Ace Attorney, since it was just standard point and click shenanigans. You'll see what I mean. That's about as much as I know about this game. That, as well as the fact that Phoenix is in here and that he had a daughter, and yeah. And that Apollo's the main guy. That man, you mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that.
So then you knew the true nature of your client's job?
Of course, but I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I feared this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score. I see. What happened then? The little window. You mean the one used to keep the watch up the stairs? Huh. It's really that small. Why isn't this map not fucking in the court record? If it's not in the court record, I guess that just means it's safe to assume it's not important. It doesn't look that big. Oh, that's... Oh! That window! God damn it! I thought this was the window. That's a goddamn door. How can I be so blind? Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The Black Marketeers used it, I believe. Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go into the room? I didn't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fears had been unfounded? I'd be walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least. Kristoff's very much aware. I mean, he is Apollo's teacher, and he's probably aware of the freaking tactics the defense uses. Surely he won't let anything slip while being pressed for info. How do you know it was right after the murder? Really, no need to shout, Justice. I was just getting to that part in my testimony. Ah, there he is, the coolest defense in the West we know and love. Even when you're standing up on the witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours. Friends like these, who needs enemies? By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. And Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat.
Can you describe the scene of the crime for us?
Poor Payne. He doesn't deserve to go through any of this shit that's happening right now. He's just the prosecutor. And now he's involved, along with Apollo, in this fucking mess. It probably is a very personal thing between the defendant, the victim, and Gavin. Those were the only three at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I saw at least.
Then we're back where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police?
2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend. There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Justice, I just said I saw no one, not a soul. That goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah yes, this mysterious 4th person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose? Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap cards in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary? How can I show something I can't find myself? Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the 5th ace. The 5th ace, right. Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point to a reason? Not yet.
Not yet? Ha! Pathetic! Not yet. Try not ever.
Well, Mr. Gavin, I'm willing to wait for as long as it takes. Great, I don't even know what the heck I'm looking for. Apollo. Yes, sir? Don't forget, you already know the answer. Yes, I probably do. You just don't realize it yet. I already know the answer. Take a moment to think it over again, okay? I already have the fucking ace up my sleeve, quite literally. But I wanna keep exhausting the dialogue first, you know? For the fans. Wouldn't it have been better to wait for the police to arrive? Remember though, by that time I was already Wright's defense attorney. It wouldn't do for me to become part of the investigation. That makes sense? Or does it? I'm confused.
Well, what happened next?
Where were you when the phone call came? I had already left the Bosch Bolt Club by that time. On the phone, he asked me to defend him naturally. I was surprised. I accepted, however. I couldn't abandon him. So kind of you. So far everything jives with Mr. Wright's testimony, I think. Is it going to be a problem for you to cross-examine your own boss? I'm fine! Who was it that taught me never to pull punches in cross-examination? It was you, Mr. Gavin. I learned it from watching you. Alright, so here we go. Alright, was it this thing? Blah 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 blah. I do have my controller with me, but since this game is mostly touchscreen, I rarely actually do use it. Alright. I got evidence. Now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out. Go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the 5th ace? Oh yeah. Check this out. Boom! My reason is this.
Is that an ace?
Why? Why, it's got blood on it. Right next to the spade. What?
This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why?
Could this be the missing 5th ace? Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card? Hey, you know about it. That reaction. Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gaffin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bowl Club that night after the murder had occurred. I give it to my daughter. Cards are her stock in trade after all. No! Impossible! Unacceptable! The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How could you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason?
The reason for?
For the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Hello, he's back. Take another look at the photo and at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell to the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down the back of his head. Couldn't the drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh? Right. Regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken the card from the scene of the crime. And now I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see. This is baseless conjecture! Baseless! Oh, Phoenix. Oh yeah, signature, trademark pose. Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. This meme is from the future, you don't understand it yet. And now I am here in the future. I understand it. Except not really, because this was never supposed to be a meme. What? It's amazing, really. How a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head. Wow, 3D. Oh yeah, I love the use of 3D in this game. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And, before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there's one decisive problem with this scene. Well, what is it? Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? Whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card? I don't really get it, but I'm pretty sure it's quite obvious what the answer should be. The second witness's position is the problem. The second witness, that would be Mr. Gavin, yes? The second witness's position is far less problematic than yours right now, Justice. Or perhaps perilous is a better word. I cannot see what the blood-stained card has to do with the second witness's location. I'm afraid you're more than in the peril of a penalty this time. Oh, okay. Given there was a drop of blood on the card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit. The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witness. Whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card. Okay, so it can't have been the second witness, it can't have been the first witness. The card that was swapped for a blue card was from the victim's hand. Or was it from Phoenix's hand? The winner. I'm pretty sure it was the winner. Well, for one thing, the killer's in the wrong place, I think. You think? Mr. Justice, your job here is not to think, but to know. Just looking at you reminds me of the old days. Not the good old days, per se. How does a good old penalty sound? God damn it, I'm in my last penalty now. Try that one more time, Mr. Justice. Think before you sink. Yes, please. Okay, so it's the victim. Unless it's the witness and we're all fools. Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice. Well, look. The victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You'd think any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him. Take a look at the photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood would fall on the floor, not on the cards. Why, that's right! So what does this mean? Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try turning the chair around. The chair was facing the other way? It would have to be. What? So we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table. When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing? When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around? Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We know now the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction. Again? Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? No, please. Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? I don't know!
Yo, Rusty, it's so simple. You should know that.
What do you mean? You missed like another fucking hour of this game I was in. A whole lot of stuff happened.
You should be brain. You know that. Anyways, I'm eating ice cream right now. It's pretty good.
Oh wait, this is easy. Whose location creates a contradiction if the victim was facing away? Why, the killer, of course! The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is? I would think it'd be quite hard, yes.
Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game?
I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light.
What?
There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Oh my god, we're looking at this diagram so much. Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking it on the diagram. What? There's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry, let's think it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing towards the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. I don't know! Where would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim from the front? That would be in here, right? Like, what's this black thing supposed to be, though? It's supposed to be like a wall of some kind, right? So, what about here? Well, I guess the killer would have to be, here? Well, alright, let's load. Contradiction if the victim was facing away. Alright, so this is where I daboo. Blah 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 blah. Look again at the diagram. Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking it in the diagram.
What's a diagram? There's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry, let's think it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Where would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim from the front? Outside? Sounds logical.
You get points for flair, but that's about all you get.
I thought I was onto something there too.
I hardly need to point out.
Well, considering how I haven't gotten the penalty yet, yes, you were indeed onto something here, Apollo. We got it right, and Payne's just being an idiot now, apparently. Maybe.
I hardly see a need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Or are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above? Ha!
It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, and that means that at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there! What's this now? I mean, that's the only explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard and the hideout immediately. Bailiff, send the team to the crime scene immediately! Have them try to move the cupboard! Ah, Your Honor. What? There's one more thing your man should look for. Please give this to the bailiff. Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright. I do my best. Hot damn.
What happened?
Phoenix Wright's been wronged.
What?
Very wronged.
What?
This was all a
What do you
kaikatu, I think. I still don't get what's going on.
You mean framed, right? Instead of wrong. Framed.
Maybe.
Or something.
Let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here. Which means, Polo, try moving the cupboard. That window, now you do that. It blocked the tiny window. At the time of the murder, it has to have been shown here. That means there was no way Gavin could have seen anything. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of my crime, and oh my. What's this? Well, what is it now? Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we've found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Huh? Oh dang! Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion. Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness? Which indicator in this diagram contradicts what we know about the crime? Bam!
What's happening? Why the bam?
About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs! Oh! That's right. Someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see it. Someone like Mr. Gavin. What? What did you say? Yeah, well, we know now. Oh, is the coolest defense in the West losing his cool?
Who's Mr. Gavin?
My assistant in the defense, and is now the supposed killer.
Where
According,
the hell did he come from?
he was here since the beginning. Dang it!
Oh. Okay. I don't know, man. You voiced him pretty similar to other characters, I think.
Yep. I'm not good at impersonating Goro Akechi. Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court, exactly where did you witness the crime scene from?
No!
Excuse me, Your Honor. Order! This is a court of law and I will have order! We just now received word from our investigative team at the Borscht Bowl Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor.
How
What?
fast did they examine that?
Why were they
How?
examining it?
No,
The
how
defense
fast?
asked.
How the fuck did they get there so fast?
I know, right? It's probably either close by or the police are literally just everywhere. And
The
there's
police are just
teleportation
doing
in this
Grand Theft
universe
Auto.
or something.
Yeah, probably that. That's the most likely fucking answer to our problem, right?
They got
Teleportation.
teleport waypoints. There's a
Yeah.
teleport waypoint in the Borscht Bowl Club.
And then they used Sayu resting.
Oh, and what did they find? Well, Your Honor, it turns out there's a secret passage behind it. What? Ah, yes. I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to their room many of our regulars know about. I do remember him saying something about that, now that he mentions it. A secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal goings-on. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room has a secret passage. Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses would get away from the cops and enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer. Oh. We're finally gonna get to see a breakdown. You see where a line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. Literally. Such symbolism. In the first game, it was like with the thinker, and then here, it's with cards. Amazing. And game of poker.
Ah.
The first cases are always the best. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat was only off his head for the few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin, come on, say something. Dare I ask what really happened that night? Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith, a date with destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came and he took it. Eek! But lamb, what? Why did you do that? Wait here, I'll get help. Miss Olga Orley was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith.
Damn.
But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer.
What? How?
Then our killer stepped out. I don't get what's happening either. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look and... badam!
Bam!
After the
Indeed.
deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime.
Wait, what?
Too bad for him he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red.
Wait, what?
Yes, what indeed.
How? Why would one drop blood? What would one drop of blood do?
I know, right? I have no idea how this entire fucking shit was solved by the drop of blood on the fucking Ace of Spades card.
Wait, why? Wait, what's the reason?
Everything that happened during the moments of this one episode, it seems, right now. I mean the video, not actually episode 1 of Apollo Justice. Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. Yep, this episode's just never gonna end. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne!
Yes, Your Honor.
The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion.
Wark.
Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately. Objection!
Objection? For what now?
No need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. I know, right? Fucking hell.
Who the hell is enjoying themselves?
Our supposed killer, Christoph Gavin. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor
Rusty,
trick.
Rusty,
Excuse
do the
me?
dad joke.
What? I don't get it.
Do the dad joke.
What did he
Hi,
say?
Shock. I'm dad.
God damn it. The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. Not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney. Illegal evidence? Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin, is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course. This bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne?
Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were, upside down.
I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. The court and this case demand an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold a bottle upside down. And that is to hit
Smack
someone with the
someone with
bottom
it.
of the bottle. Well, Your Honor?
You're
Ah.
wrong.
See how the caught fish squirms to the last. Well, Apollo? Yes? Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation just like that. Yeah. Just like what? Why would anyone grab a bottle upside down other than to... Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. I gotta think outside the box or something. What other
Maybe
reason,
you-
apart from murdering someone with a bottle, would one hold a bottle upside down?
Maybe it's just convenient to hold the bottle upside down. Is that not
That's
a legitimate answer?
a little too obvious and probably not a suitable answer. Is
Yeah.
there really another? Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there. In plain sight. Okay, I'm gonna take a look before it's too late.
Also, don't forget to save, Rusty.
Yeah, maybe,
If you
why
can.
not? I'll make a save state. Could it be
Hoorah.
because of the cork?
The court.
You know, the lid, the bottle cap.
What about it? It's- What about the bottle cap?
I don't know,
Bottle
I'm just coming up with stuff to say here. Also, it turns out that Lady Russian Waitress wasn't actually Russian. So, it was all totally planned. My fake
So,
and terrible Russian accent was because I knew all along she was a faker.
so, what was she?
She is Olga Quick Fingers Orly. And the Orly is pronounced O'Reilly.
O'Reilly. Right?
Nope, O'Reilly. She literally says herself. It's pronounced as if you're saying the words O'Reilly.
So,
She's a professional swindler. How about you
Right.
just say the answer in plain words? It
professional
would
swindler.
be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions indeed. Well, Mr. Justice, Sir Gavin said that the court and this case demand an explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done. Haha, puns. Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court? What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down? I don't fucking know!
Many.
Why would they be upside down?
Why wouldn't it be upside down, Rusty? It's just common sense that you would hold bottles upside down, you know? How do you not know that, dude?
Wait! Look at this picture. Of course, it's so obvious. Why didn't I think of it? Take that! It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair. Excuse me? On the floor? Yes. Now reach down and pick it up without getting out of your chair. Ah! See, you naturally go to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Okay? Look at this photograph that I just found. When I say go, be ready to throw. The defendant, Mr. Wright, said.
Why
I don't know.
What a fucking poet, Rusty. He's so good.
Playing piano, bottles grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. How much am I willing to bet them being grape juice is a censorship, and the original Japanese release of this game actually just had them be referred to what they most obviously would have been. Beer or wine. I mean, grape juice is similar enough to wine, I guess.
I mean, yeah. But why don't you search it on Google, Rusty?
Too lazy. It would have naturally picked up the bottle upside down several times. Whoa, I can't believe it was that simple. Recall our dinner that evening, Christoph.
Man. What the fuck is happening?
I don't know either, man. I'm just playing along. This is basically Phoenix is the one that's playing the game, and I'm just sort of his sidekick now.
It sort of feels like it. What's with the bottle, though? Like, why are you discussing about the bottle?
Guess Mr. Gavin's desperate to be proven he's innocent, I guess.
Don't you think that when someone's like that, they should just be guilty now?
Yeah, I guess, but Gavin's still playing hard. Like Phoenix said, how the fish struggle when they finally take the bait or something. Basically, you use the bottle on the table to do the deed, but then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano, and you switched the bottles. You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon. Okay. Then where's this other bottle? Order, order, order! What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin?
Order!
Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle? Pray tell, where's the other bottle? Where's your proof? Proof? Well, that's, as I thought, more baseless conjecture. Actually, I do indeed have the proof. Maybe, right here, within the court records. Unless the game tells me to show it, I'm not gonna do anything just in case I'm an idiot. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. It is the fact that it's empty that's the proof. I won't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiate the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation? Ah, yes. I have your memo about that here. Oh, hell, you booga
Oh.
booga daba. Retrieve the
Oh.
bottles from under the piano at the Borscht Bowl Club. And here's one of the
Damn.
bottles in question. Huh? What are you going to dust that for? Fingerprints too? I'd be surprised if any were on that but his. The Gavin Rye wouldn't
Damn.
make such a novice mistake, true. That bottle won't bear a trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes? Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle? But why? Just humor me, Mr. Wright.
Why?
That bottle will solve this case once and for all. What?
What? Why?
Again, what is with Apollo always being able to read? It even managed to read your thoughts and words. Like, I can't. If I had a nickel every time Apollo repeated the exact same lines I said while I was making this, I'd have 4 nickels by now.
Hmm.
5 if I include you as well. For a total of plus 2 nickels for both of us saying what and him also saying what. That's some bottle.
Hmm.
Alright, so yep, there it fucking is. The card. The 5 of Hearts. Representing Gavin. Because the 5 of Hearts in the playing cards, translated into the tarot cards as I already explained, is the 5 of Cups. The 5 in any of the minor suit usually mean bad. And in the Cups case, it represents the loss of friendship. So yeah, Gavin basically threw away his friendship with Phoenix or something. What symbolism? And then the
Damn.
Ace of Spades being the sword, Ace of Swords representing victory. God damn, can they be any more on the nose with the symbolism?
Nope.
What is this? That card! It can't be! Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment. Miss Olga O'Reilly? Yes, our little swindling debaucher.
really?
That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then, Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Because Phoenix found it out and hid it away.
Oh, really?
She swindled the swindler. She outswindled the swindler. She outsmarted the
Wow.
outsmarting. Whatever else you wanna
Wow.
fucking call it. He ain't the
Amazing.
undefeated poker champion for nothing. Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found the card. Yes, I stuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of Hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. There it is.
It wasn't empty.
Yep, the 5 of Hearts.
Magic.
This is the card. The bottles were swapped, and the only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin.
Huh?
Break down, break down! What the hell? Stuff is fucking floating now from his anger! Amazing! That was one
Wow.
heck of a fucking desk slam. Fucking
He's so mad
levitating
you
everything
made it
first
through.
before dropping them all down with a smack on the table.
Damn. How mad is he? How fucking hurt is his fucking hands then?
Indeed. The only thing that wasn't surprising at that point was the fact that he didn't destroy the fucking desk.
His hands must be bleeding, you know?
Indeed. But they are not. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago.
Damn.
My past is like my logic, straight and true. Too bad the same can't be said about your love life. Is it ever actually confirmed who Phoenix married? Maybe they never did because they knew people would riot if they found out it wasn't who they thought it would be. Gay ships, am I right? Nothing's changed. All I do was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete, right? What the fuck does that mean?
This is insane! What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone?
Yeah, poor Payne, man. He didn't have nothing to do in here. Oh, he was just caught up in the mess. Along with Apollo. I believe this time we've finally come to an end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
None that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler. An odd profession to be sure, and that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright? Yes? 7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch. Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I needed two things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no justice would be injustice would be tolerated. This courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me? A dark time is coming for our legal system. A twisting of justice, brought on by our very own court system. We have to set it right. Mr. Wright. Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, this seems like a good time to announce a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty.
Not guilty.
Yeah!
Finally!
Finally! Holy shit! 4! This whole thing took 4 parts to end. This is gonna be a wild ride, folks, and I don't regret ever boarding this ride. Court is adjourned. We did it! April 20, 4:28 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. Yeah, that's bullshit. This whole thing took like 2 hours.
Yeah, but you took like 5 hours to do it, right?
Maybe, yes. Nah, 4. 4 parts. Each part was like an hour.
Totally. And imagine taking that long.
Bruh. Thanks, Polo. You came through, just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. Yep, indeed indeed I did not. That was all literally just Gavin and Phoenix battling it out. And me, Apollo, and fucking Payne were just there.
Question, Rusty. What the fuck happened to Phoenix saying, I'm not gonna talk because I used my right of silence, blah blah blah?
Well, I guess he didn't care about it anymore.
What's the point of him staying silent then?
It was all part of his plan. He was concealing it until he thought it was finally the right moment.
And what if he didn't reveal it earlier and he got guilty because of that?
Then that would have been my fault, technically. Because I got too much penalties.
But what if
And
it's
then
a
there was a game
real
over.
court?
Hmm?
But what if it's a real court thing, Rusty?
I know, right?
Damn. So, what now?
We're gonna get to the conclusion, and then that will be the end of episode 1 of Apollo Justice and the end of this video. But yeah, there's still obviously episode 2. And I
You're
can't
gonna
wait.
take forever again.
Uh,
So, are you gonna take like 10 hours to do episode 2 now?
hell yeah. You sent it too today, didn't you? Your ability? Yes, my fucking ability to read habits or something. What the fuck was up with that?
What?
Yep, it's just an ability I have. What's happening? Huh? Why can't I advance the dialogue? Oh, oops.
Why? What's happening?
I was messing with my controller, that's why. Oops.
Big
There we go.
brain.
It's finally working. Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... I have one question for the witness. Flashback. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? What was that, Mr. Wright? You'll have to find the answer to that question yourself. The answer, right? Today was full of questions without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have had to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come. Huh? Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Huh? Oh, that reminds me. I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. He gave you your card. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know you were right about this locket.
Rocket?
I took this off his neck the night he died. It looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. But the truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified. You said that locket was yours. I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You're still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices after all. I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo, yes? How about coming to work for me?
Hey.
You mean at Wright & Co. Law Offices? I thought that place doesn't exist anymore. Considering, you lost your badge and everything. I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but you're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge. Yes, I'm not an attorney anymore. I'm... a pianist. That incident 7 years ago, that legendary trial. And at the middle of it all was one man, Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion and he left law for good. What exactly happened? Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick, so that was forged evidence. What the fuck?
Huh? Oh. Oh, I'm so pretty.
What? I don't know what's happening anymore still. Oh my god. One piece of evidence struck me as odd. It's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I'll bet this was the forged evidence. This. The Ace of Spades. You mean this, don't you? Got this from your daughter, Mr. Right? Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left, leaving the wrong card in its place, luckily for us. Court can't accept this evidence, it's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? I think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene, the real killer. Yep. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then you really? Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney? Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true! 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? I am lost for words. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address? Drop in if you'd like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling "take that" next time. I find it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. Bruh. With that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. What a first trial! A lot of mysteries went unsolved, and at the time I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. The flow of calamity is the flow is always a calamity. I am wonder of you, and the flow is always a calamity. Logic and calamity. Insert. I don't quite remember what he said there. What Wonder of You said about logic and calamities. I'd find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law, and this is how my story begins. The end. Oh my god! A brand new episode has been added. Turnabout Corner. Well, tune in next time for that. As for me, I'm taking a break from all that craziness. Goodbye.